$4 million company Gartner is being sued for sexual harassment. Frances was an account executive and this was her manager, Giuseppe. The more she tried to stop his inappropriate comments, the more he carried on. He actually put her on a performance improvement plan. She tried to raise a grievance against his behaviour and they basically did a really bad job at it. And if you think they've learnt the error of their ways, the HR person that was responsible for this case has actually now been promoted to Director of HR. The tribunal actually said that they were shocked by the hostility towards the claimant. And they even tried blaming her for this happening. Apparently she brought it on herself. In providing the evidence, they actually redacted a lot of emails, and when they were pressed by the tribunal why they did this, they didn't give a sufficient answer. The tribunal said that everything from the case through to the evidence that they provided was hostile towards the claimant. He kept on referring to her as good girl and kept on harassing her to put a picture on the internet. I mean, look at this exchange, pause to read. So she asked him to stop being called good girl and said that she was an independent woman, and he just carried on mocking that. His behaviour did start improving, so she agreed to go on a work trip with him, but then he made inappropriate, unwelcome sexual advances towards her in the hotel. He found out that she was on a dating app and joked that he was going to catfish her and turn up on a drink, so she ended up deleting the dating app because she felt threatened. He basically got annoyed that this had happened and then put her on a performance improvement plan. This is when HR got involved. And this is where you'll say that you will hate HR, because actually the HR business partner, who's now one of the directors of HR, was described by the tribunal as not a credible witness. Big yay for the HR profession. She asked to move teams, he found out and basically said, do as I say or I'll manage you out of this business. She'd actually been a really good performer and she's got evidence to prove it. Frances then went to make a complaint of sexual harassment, and the manager that she went to basically said she brought this on herself because she had a flirty relationship with him. And when HR found out about this, they made no proposal for immediate action, which is so wrong. When the tribunal were investigating this point, the manager lied so much that the tribunal actually said we are unwilling to accept anything he says which is not independently corroborated, which is very strong from a tribunal. So let's not forget that this is supposed to be someone that tells every company how to do things well. Yet their equal opportunities policy is described as rudimentary and reads like a policy that might be drawn up decades before, and it's just a paper commitment to equality issues. And they've called their training on sexual harassment out of date, off-putting, simplistic and not challenging. In dealing with Frances's grievance, they breached the Employment Rights Act, ACAS's Code of Practice for Disciplinaries and Grievances, and their own policy on grievances. And they've said that they did so to deliberately stop Frances from succeeding. They didn't even carry out the investigation properly. In the determination, the culture was described as laddish and probably toxic, and that the evidence that they've seen of a discriminatory nature is rare, and they're an experienced employment tribunal. You can read all of this if you want to see the full determination. The hearing on her compensation is coming up.